Hey crew, I've got the key to that 2023 Toyota Sequoia. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. All new generation Sequoia. We've only waited 15 years, right? Design elements, we're seeing a lot of new Tundra here, including the headlight shape. These are the optional auto leveling LED headlights with sequential turn signals. We have pass-through airflow there. And here, this limited trim has gray painted bars, one of 4 different grille inserts that you have on the Sequoia. There are LED fog lights down low within a silver painted piece. That's a dead bug, optional. And this one is painted in Sonic Red, and it doesn't hit quite as hard under a gray sky, but in the sun, it super pops. In profile, the Limited gets these gray painted over fenders, and then upgrades from the SR5's 18-inch wheels to these 20s wrapped in Bridgestone Dueler tires. Up on the hood, there's an iForce Max badge denoting the hybrid powertrain underneath. Over yonder is Topher Brower of the Topher YouTube channel, Daily Motor, and Winding Road magazine. Go check those out. There's a body color matching door mirror on limited trim, chrome door handles, chrome window trim, silver painted roof rails, and an integrated running board. Stepping back to look at the profile, I really love what Toyota has done here. They're kind of bringing in some of the 4Runner's blockiness while blending in the new Tundra styling, especially the accentuated wheel arches front and rear. It looks super cool. Getting to the back, we've got standard LED taillights, though this one with the auto leveling headlight package has those sequential turn signals. There's a chrome bar to connect the taillights, and then down low we've got Sequoia spelled out in chrome, and I don't like that nearly as much. Although it is kind of reminiscent of the Lexus LX600. And I think that speaks to something. The fact that Toyota is moving the Sequoia upscale, while now with this Tundra-inspired design, keeping the muscularity. I don't think the Sequoia has ever looked better on the outside, but let's take a peek inside. Opening up and looking inside at this black interior with leatherette seats on limited trim and these really nifty perforated inserts. To get into the third row, we pull this lever here and the seats tumble forward slowly. This is a good time to mention that this is actually an early pre-production version of the Sequoia, so certain panels are not finished and certain pieces are missing. To get into that third row, we have a grab handle, got your running board and an additional step, but taller folks you're gonna wanna duck your head. It's a body-on-frame SUV, so the floor is kinda high. Now here, I've got plenty of legroom, but as I move over, what is happening? It's like shrinking. Well, that's because this third row slides forward and backward 6 inches. So now, while sacrificing some cargo room, at 6 feet tall, I can fit pretty comfortably. Headroom is sort of a different story because if I lean forward, my head's on the roof. If I lean back, it just barely clears, but I can't really sit all the way upright. It's not gonna be terribly comfortable on a longer trip for bigger adults in the third row, but you could make it work. We have cup holders, you've got a USB-C port there, and another one hidden in here, and you also have power reclining seats on limited trim, along with sunshades in the third row. Not too shabby, especially considering the hybrid battery is underneath the third row floor. Moving back into the second row, we have sunshades here as well, power one-touch up-down windows, leather armrests, some harder plastics down low, of course. Hopping in, gaze up at the optional panoramic glass roof. There's a standard panoramic sunroof on the Sequoia. Third zone of climate control is standard. You've got 2 USB ports, an AC outlet, air vents there and up here. And this is sitting behind my own seating position at 6 feet tall. This second row no longer slides, and you can get captain's chairs instead of the bench seating, so you'd move from 8-passenger seating to 7-passenger. Look at all of this knee room. The foot pockets are kind of tight, so I can't slide my feet forward much. Thigh support, that's really solid. Headroom is kind of a similar deal to the third row, where if my head is forward a bit, especially with a panel roof, then it's pressing against the roof. But if I relax and sit back, I actually have more room here than in the third row, so we're good. There's also an armrest that comes down with 2 cup holders to match the 2 on the console. Solid second row. Let's go to the first. Doors close with a deep thud. Up front, limited trims get heated and ventilated seats with power adjustments and 2-position memory. You got your power folding and power adjusting door mirrors. If we reach in here and hold this button for a sec, it's going to open up the tailgate, where I've got my backpack for reference. This is with the seats in the third row slid all the way back. You can slide them forward, and that kind of gives you an idea of the cargo space back here with this organizer at this level. So there are actually 4 different levels here. You got it on the bottom, you got it at this level, give you that flat floor there, and then you can have it on this level where when you fold down the seats, it will give you a fully flat floor. Now with the magic of editing, I've already power raised the third row and moved this organizer into the highest setting because I want to show you how it's useful. For one, we have 2 levels of cargo storage, and when you close up this tailgate, power close and lock feature. Also notice the 400-watt AC outlet back there. Wait for it. We can pop the back glass, and if I have stuff stored up here, I can easily take it out. It's very clever, Toyota. To get into the front seats, there is a grab handle. 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, standard on Sequoia. Heated leather-wrapped steering wheel on limited trim. And a 14-inch touchscreen infotainment. This is an upgrade over the standard 8-inch unit, and it's pretty darn responsive. The graphics look good. It has wireless Apple CarPlay, a chunky volume knob here, tabs for your HVAC settings and for your surround view camera, which is standard. Optional is this digital rearview mirror, rather it's on limited trims, as is the wireless smartphone charging system. Got injection molding for your chunky gear selector. This silver trim underneath which you find 2 cup holders. I much prefer this trim to the gloss black that's in here. Thankfully, they just kept it to here. You get a reconfigurable center console with a leather armrest on either side. It's very wide, but not super deep. You get 2 USB ports there, another one there, and coin storage. Very nice. Visibility isn't great with all the headrests up, but thankfully we do have standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. Overall, I quite like this cabin, and I'm ready to take this Sequoia out for a drive. All right, let's fire it up. Pretty neat welcome graphic on the digital gauge cluster. It's one of the national parks. Infotainment is live, digital rearview mirror is live. We're gonna be starting in normal drive mode. You get 3 standard drive modes on the Sequoia, normal, sport, and eco. We'll put it in drive, and then we'll do a turning radius test to kick things off. Well, look at that. That's impressively tidy for a 3-row SUV like this. A full-size 3-row SUV. And how about a horn test? While there's no one to disturb. Powerful. Who am I indicating to? I'm going left. Oh, we could listen to the turn signal. Inoffensive. Let's talk about this powertrain, because it's fairly impressive for a standard powertrain. I mean, across the Sequoia lineup, from the SR5 all the way up to the Capstone, it's exclusively using this hybrid engine, 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. And it makes 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. hustles and sounds good too. I don't know how much of that is artificial, but it motivates this hefty 3-row full-size body-on-frame, fully boxed chassis SUV superbly well. And we have to imagine it's going to improve upon the previous generation Sequoia's, 14 combined MPG? If this gets even close, which it should, to the Tundra Hybrid's 21 combined MPG, then they haven't announced fuel economy, at least not while I'm filming this. But if it gets close to that, then this is going to be among the most efficient of these vehicles in this class, while making among the class leaders highest horsepower ratings. Horsepower. Yeah, you can hear the turbos too. And that engine is connected to a 10-speed automatic gearbox that, left in automatic mode, is seamless. It works smoothly through the gears. Again, this is in normal drive mode. If I can go into eco mode, then it is going to deaden the throttle response. Imagine eco is going to be great for things like road trips. And then on the topic of road trips, this cabin is reasonably well insulated for the price point. I mean, we're getting wind noise. On certain road surfaces, I get more tire noise and road noise, but it's really not bad. The steering is somewhat busy pointed in a straight line. I took a long highway out here, and I was constantly having to fidget with the wheel to keep the vehicle pointed straight, so that's not awesome for road trips. The seat comfort is solid. These seats are a little on the firm side, but they're definitely supportive, and they hold me well in place while not being restrictive or anything of the sort. Ride comfort is actually shockingly good. I say it's shockingly good because whereas the predecessor Sequoia had an independent rear suspension, Toyota actually moved to a solid rear axle with this new model, multi-link rear end and coil sprung rear end, but a solid axle. And what usually comes with that is a busyness over road surfaces, but I'm not getting that. And it's just, it rides really nicely. It absorbs the bumps very nicely. And if this isn't even good enough for you, they have, as we'll experience a bit later, hopefully, in the capstone, adaptive dampers with an auto-leveling rear air suspension. Now that looks like a curve up ahead. So let's move into sport drive mode and see how the Sequoia can handle it. Delay on the turn in. Let's get into those brakes a bit. Nosedive, but pull this down. And power out of the corner is plentiful. All right, so the steering feel wasn't completely dead, and I sort of expected that. Just hopping out of recently the Cadillac Escalade, where it was floaty. This one, yes, the weight pushes you out to the edge of the corner, but you feel some of that going on in the wheel, and so you sort of hedge against it. The braking performance, well, you know what? We don't have anyone around. Let's do it from 60. I'll creep on down there when we're not on a crest. Let's get up to 60 and slam on it. At the very end there, kind of skipped a beat, but the pedal never mushed. In emergency situations, you need the confidence that you're going to be able to maneuver around an obstacle safely, and I think that the Sequoia gives you that impression. Strong brakes, good steering feel for the segment. Check those boxes. And since the opportunity has presented itself, let's do a 0 to 60 test. I got the race box set up here. We'll go to sport. Oh, look at that dead bug. Sorry, guy. Brake boost. Off the line we go. No drama. And there's 60 in 6.3 seconds. I've actually already done this once. I got 6 seconds. And that's on the quicker side of the segment. I like this powertrain. I just do. It pulls hard. Not just from a dig either. The mid-range power is sensational. I want to also just see, with manual operation of the 10-speed, okay, so not perfect in manual mode. It had a hiccup on that one upshift, and then it had a delay on the second one. Let's just keep it in automatic. But in automatic, the mid-range is fantastic, and the shifts are smooth, the power is plentiful, and this engine is a big portion of the reason why the latest generation Sequoia tows well over 2,000 pounds more than the predecessor. The peak towing capacity, if you get the SR5 and the rear drive version, this is the part-time four-wheel drive version of the Sequoia, by the way, is 9,520 pounds, and that is among the segment leaders. Only the Jeep Wagoneer has higher towing capacity. In this grade, with the part-time all-wheel drive system, four-wheel drive system, oh, look at that new Tundra right there. You're looking at about 9,000 pounds. Still, not bad at all. Now, let's go see if we can't hop into a capstone and compare that driving experience while then discussing competitors to this new Sequoia. Indeed, I have managed to find my way into the two-tone semi-aniline leather seats, boy, these feel good, of the capstone with the optionally equipped self-leveling rear air suspension and adaptive dampers. Now, we need to see what difference, if any, that makes to the ride quality of this 23 Sequoia. And we're heading out over an uneven road surface. Go for a bump. No harsh impact. Just gonna detour over some gravel. It felt nice, if anything. I'd say initial impressions are that this optional suspension helps the Sequoia kind of just glide over things in a way the standard one does not. And then the adaptive dampers take some of the punishments out of the harsher impacts. I'm not going to say it completely changes the game for this car, this truck, because as I mentioned before, even with the live axle in the rear, it's not a busy ride. It's not an uncomfortable ride. The bumps don't hurt. They don't jar you. This just makes it even smoother. Now let's talk competition and pricing for the 23 Sequoia. And I'm not going to list every full-size three-row competitor. I'm just taking a sampling of three. The starting figure for the 23 Sequoia is just under $60,000. If you want the four-wheel drive system, shell out an extra $3,000. The two vehicles I tested, the limited model with the 4x4 was about $67,000. This one, the capstone, is about $78,000. The starting figure for the Sequoia bumps it up over the predecessor by about $8,000, and that's a lot. But I think it's worth the price premium given all the standard equipment and the upgrades to the exterior and interior. But then let's frame that with competitors. So let's start with the Chevy Tahoe. That one is $56,000 to start. It makes 355 horsepower with the lesser powered V8. If you want the Meteor V8, it can make as much as 420 horsepower. I don't know why I'm changing lanes here. And the 0 to 60 is as brief as 5.9 seconds, and with the lesser V8, it's about 7.5 seconds. The fuel economy. between 17 and 18 combined, and the towing is way less than the Sequoia. The Ford Expedition starts around $54,000. It makes 380 horsepower in its lesser potent V6, and more power, 440 horsepower, just barely more than the Sequoia with a pepped up engine. 0 to 60 is as brief as 5.4 seconds? 5.6 seconds? Can't remember. And 5.6. And the slower output, or less output, slower 0 to 60 is well over 7 seconds. Fuel economy for that one, between 17 and 19 combined. Towing, a little less than this at 9,300 pounds. Then we can think about the Nissan Armada, and that would be the value play here. $50,000 to start, while still making a standard 400 horsepower. 0 to 60 is 6 seconds flat. Fuel economy is really bad. It's 15 combined. Really bad. I mean, this was 14 combined in the predecessor. And the towing is 8,500 pounds. I think the new Sequoia is bringing the heat to this segment. Seriously. I'd probably go with the base SR5 and add on the premium package and maybe even the TRD off-road package that's newly available to the Sequoia with the Bilstein suspension and the rear locking differential. And I'd be looking around mid-60s. They haven't fully announced the pricing for those packages, but that's what I'd estimate. And I think that's a solid value play. The standard equipment here, the fresh styling, the improved interior technology, the ride comfort, the boosted towing capacity, this potent engine, and what I fully expect to be class-leading fuel economy. This is the whole package in a big, burly family SUV. I think Toyota nailed it. It's been a long wait, but it was probably worth it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to get notified. And I'll see you next time.